Hi! I thought we would do something a little different today. We're going to stream during the day. I know, radical. Well, during the day for me. Normally, I have to stream at night, and so that means that there are certain people who I just never see because they're in different time zones, and I know that some people want a chance to get in on a live stream, and I've always just wanted to try. It's a new animal doing this during the day. I'm not gonna lie. It feels weird. It's strange, but in a good way. This is a game I've had my eye on for a little while, and it's just to let you know, it's free. The link is down below if you're interested. It is a 1920s BL Prohibition era game. So hopefully we're gonna have fun. It's by Argent Games. They have more games out now, so you can check them out. They recently did a Kickstarter for one of their new games. So yeah, I interrupted Smallville. I don't know if this is the right choice. Let me know how the volume is. It's very jazzy, and so I hope you can hear it. So let me know if we're good, and then we're just gonna click start, and we're gonna get into this. So we'll see how it goes. Really high? So jazzy? It is high, you're right. There we go. That looks more like a good level. Perfect. All right. How are we now? Let's do it. Boom. Perfect? Is that the accent I need to use? I think it is. I mean, it is Prohibition era, but if I try and do that, it's just gonna be butchered. Ah, what a lovely night. What do you say we go get a drink? Boss, that's the 5th time you've used that joke today. Well, it's your fault for making such a hilarious face every time. Woo. There we go. August. We must go through this game as August. Enjoy the aura of August. Just ellipses of sadness. My name is August Richter, and I'm a detective. A Yaoi detective. Unfortunately, my parents thought a nice classic name like James or John just wouldn't be good enough for me. Everyone thought it'd be downright hilarious to call me July during my training, so I decided going by Richter would suit me just fine. Richter, I'm hungry. Didn't we just have dinner an hour ago, boss? Boss. But my appetite for good food is never stated. Stated? Wow, stated. Just like my appetite for justice. Okay, well now that's gonna be the voice, because anybody who says anything like that talks really dramatically. For justice. For science. What do you say? Should we go get some cannoli? A fellow in Little Italy makes really fantastic. I like how there is a glossary in this game, by the way. That's why it's underlined like that, so you can click it. Boss. This is no time for cannoli. We've got a job to do. How dare you? There's always time for cannoli. Oh, Richter, always such a stick in the mud. This fellow right here is my senior partner, Leslie Clark. He's got 2 first names, so you know he's awesome. He wears his hair long and has what you might call a girlish face, so he's seen more of his fair share of teasing too. But somehow, absolutely nothing seems to faze him. But somehow, case in point, he's worried about cannoli when we're supposed to be tracking down criminals. Again, there's always time to worry about cannoli. A true inspiration to us all. I'm inspired. Why you gotta throw so much shade? I'm very inspired. All right. Let's get down to business. Run through the plan one last time, step by step. You're still new to solo assignments, so I want to make sure you've got all the details down pat. Or you've just forgotten them. Because you fell asleep during our last meeting. Has that? Don't worry about it. I clear my throat, straighten my posture, and mentally pull up tonight's agenda. Yaoi. No. You and I are splitting up to gather information on Cleveland's illegal liquor business and enforce Volstead. That's what we're doing. Exposition meeting. Meeting of exposition. I'm headed to the speakeasy on Ness Avenue, and you're meeting with an FBI contact to scope out some warehouses. I definitely have the more difficult job. Look at that, he's like, yeah, I got the good job. FBI scoping out warehouses. Leslie nods with his eyes closed, swiveling a little in his chair. Resist urge to make chair joke. Damn it, he better not be dozing off again. For tonight, my cover is Jack Vaughn. Wow, that's great. That's fantastic. I bet he picked that himself because he hates his name so much. He's like, what name can I pick? Jack Vaughn. And I work for the city government. Yes, you can say your job is helping civilians, and it'll be technically true because you're terrible at lying. Well, then he really needs to get out of this detective agency because... Why did you get into this line of work again? Please tell me, I've forgotten all of your backstory. I heard the agency needed detectives who didn't spend their payroll hours hunting for food. Oh. Shots fired. Richter! How cruel! With a theatrical gasp, Leslie spins rapidly around in his office chair, like my driver Mark just sent him into orbit. Sent all of us into orbit. Sometimes I wonder about what bizarre twist of fate landed us together. Only the best kind. The most contrived of kinds. Hurtful remarks aside, it sounds like you're all prepared. Well, I'm 100% prepared. So prepared. We'll meet back here tomorrow morning to trade reports, drink coffee, eat donuts. And cannolis. Is it my imagination? Or is he drooling a little? Ah, and decide our next plan of action. Of course. Understood? Loud and clear, boss. I give him a lazy salute before turning towards the door, smoothing out my vest. Picard maneuver. Richter? Please be careful. I'm always careful. How dare you? Watch yourself, stay alert, and don't do anything I wouldn't do. So, eat all the things. Like what? Skipping out on the job to get cannoli? What, you know, just... I'm serious, Richter. You're my partner. I don't want you to be turned into Swiss cheese by a Tommy gun or something. Look at that smug smirk. He's like, that's not gonna happen. That's not what's on the agenda for this game. He would use a food metaphor. So promise me you'll be careful, all right? I worry about you whenever you're off solo. I worry about you too. Don't worry, I got this. Jack Vaughn on the case. You know, Carrie, their other game, one of their other games is actually about vampires. It's called Red Embrace. So, just, you know, heads up. I don't know. You know what? I got this. I'm the best. Undercover Jack Vaughn. Ellipses of sadness. I feel like a kid trying to get permission to leave home. He does know I've done other undercover missions, right? No need to worry about me, boss. This may come as a surprise, but I can tie my own shoes, too. Oh, so you've been letting me tie them so I wouldn't get my feelings hurt? Richter, I'm touched. He flashes me a playful grin, although it doesn't do much to mask the concern still in his voice. I know him well enough by now to see through his masks, for better or worse. Unless there's anything else important, boss. I'm gonna head out to my sweet, sweet undercover gig as Jack Vaughn. You can't stop me. My name is Jack now. All right. Oh my god, I clicked away from everything. Just mega fail. I'm clicking all of the wrong buttons. Sadness. Oh yeah, there are save spots. There are not as many as to Trusted Incubus, but this game, from what I've heard, isn't very long. So, although, let me... Boop. 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 Yeah, those are my sound effects for saving, even though it's the 1920s. Leslie pushes himself up from his chair, stepping over to get the door for me. What a gentleman. Close. I expect great things from your report tomorrow. I expect great things from your eyebrows. Look at them. Oh my gosh. With any luck, we'll be well on our way to making Cleveland a boring old town, drier than the Sahara Desert. Doesn't sound quite so encouraging when I put it that way, does it? Can't argue there. God bless America, land of the liquor free. See you in the morning, boss. Give him hell, detective. He reaches out to ruffle my hair fondly, as he often does. As he often does? Leslie always likes to mess it up first thing anyway. Just, you know, throwing that out there. We trade wry smiles, and with that, I head out into the cool night air. Next stop, Undercover, Jack Vaughn. Richter's first speakeasy. Let's do it. Jack Vaughn. Definitely not a gangster. You saw it there first. 100% not a gangster, which means it's okay if we end up with Password. A gruff voice whispers to me through a slot in the door. I knew it was gruff. I didn't even need the next line. Anybody asking you for a password. The basement of this dingy restaurant echoes with the muffled sounds of swing music, like it's haunted by some ghostly jazz band. Swordfish. Ellipses. He gets it wrong. This gets thrown out. Game over. There's a long pause. My informant definitely said the password was swordfish, so if he's wrong, he's fired. This isn't a setup, is it? If it is, heads will roll by the end of tonight, assuming mine's still... The door swings open before I can finish that thought. Welcome, sir. Please enjoy your night. Oh, I intend to. Best night. Thanks. I'm sure I will. I step past the tall, dour doorman and into the loudest place I've ever seen. Or heard. Smoke everywhere. Deafening music. Giant gaggle of dancers. Loitering hopheads. Hello, I see you, period appropriate slang. Flappers posing in their risque skirts. Drunk saps trying to impress them. Sounds like my kind of speakeasy. All this laughter and cheer makes me wonder what's so criminal about it all that he questions his mission. By the end of this, he's just a bootlegger. But I guess it's not my job to ask all those kinds of questions. After I wander around a little, weaving through the hooch-holding crowd, I end up loitering by the bar. Undercover excitement, nil. The bartender's staring at me. I raise a brow at him, offering him silent defense. What, isn't it normal to come to a speakeasy and not order any liquor? Not really. Especially not at the time. Oh, good night, Timothy. No? His face is definitely saying no. Hard no, I carry. Give me a milk. All right, I'd like to order one of the special. One alcohol, please. The special comes out of Eddie's bathtub, mister. Look at his face. Wow. Bartender bellows out a laugh when I freeze in horror. Oh boy, don't worry, adds the taste. I sure bet it does. Still laughing, he uncorks a bottle and pours me a glass of clear liquid, stuffing a lime slice onto the rim. Well, at least you got a lime slice. It's classy bathtub liquor. It's like putting a fancy bow on a pile of horse dung. But I guess I should appreciate the effort. Yes, you should. It's a nice, classy experience we're having. How dare you? Classy. I lift the glass, taking a cautious sip. Well, it's 50%. Oh, we gotta blend. We've got to blend, so we've got to answer this really provocative and innuendo-based question. We're gonna swallow it because we're blending. Wow, that's bad. What does Ed do in this bathtub? Produce moonshine. That's what he does. Nikki. Actually, I don't want to answer that. As I hold my glass of God knows what and lean back against the bar, my gaze wanders across the crowded parlor and lock eyes across the room. The informant said this place is a key part of Cleveland's liquor business. Apparently it's owned by mobster types. Excuse me, the opening credits told me that he was definitely not a gangster. And now that I think about it, those guys over there look a little rough around the edges. It's just, they're not drinking or dancing, just watching the patrons. I casually scoot down the bar, getting close enough to overhear their conversation. I can't imagine August scooting casually at this point. I don't know, but I feel like, see, once you start me on the saving trend, I can't stop. It's so loud in here that I can't make out what they're saying. But I managed to catch a few words. Prohibition. Illegal gangsters. Damn Italians. Our turf. Them and the cops. Huh? Did I hear that right? They aren't part of the Italian mob? What mafia am I infiltrating? I wonder who owns this place then. It must be a different gang. Some kind of deal. That'll work. Risky. I strain my ears as much as I can, sensing the conversation is about to get even more interesting. Just one or two hints, maybe a name. Come on. Only one drink for you tonight, my friend? Ah. A low, eloquent voice murmurs right in my ear. Oh, look! It's not a gangster! The culprit smirks at me when I whip my head around surprise, offering a little wiggle of his finger in greeting. Ooh, casual finger wiggle. Things are heating up. Tall, suited, and well-groomed. He has an unusually refined look to him. Look at that. Now he's trying to play it cool. Like, well, I don't care. I also am well-groomed. Is he offering to buy me a drink? One's enough for me, or is there any better stuff? Yeah. Why am I having so much difficulty with these decisions? They're pretty standard. And I'm like, I don't know. I mean, do we have better stuff? I could manage another drink, but not another one of whatever this is. I jerk my chin towards the mild rat poison in my glass. You don't like it? Really? I've been told that's one of the best drinks here. One or two more, I promise, and they'll start growing on you. No, really, I like my tongue too much to put it through more of Satan's mouthwash. My dry comment makes the stranger chuckle, and he flashes me a wink. We got winked at. Wink, Joseph style. Oh, so that's the problem. Well, never fear. I'll take good care of that tongue of yours. Wow, okay, that was real suggestive. What's that supposed to... Bartender, a fresh drink for the delicate-tongued gentleman. And the usual for myself. He waves at the man behind the counter and quickly nods. Oh, great. I can't actually get drunk? Ugh, it's like this guy's here just to ruin my investigation. We'll get you fixed up with something that'll tickle your fancy, mister. I'm so sorry. That's the voice you're getting. Trailing off, the stranger raises one eyebrow at me expectantly. Jack. Jack Vaughn. Jack, not the name I'd have picked for you, but I still like it. Really? What name would you have picked? Sabrina's just like August. August Richter, I'm on to you. Ask me again, after you've had a few more drinks. As if on cue, the bartender passes a glass towards me and gently slides a steaming cup towards my companion. If you ordered a coffee, I swear. Is that coffee? Barely coffee was an option? Thank you, Arthur. Anytime. We learned the bartender's name. This is vital information for our investigation. He throws the man beside me a wily grin. Ooh, a wily grin. I can't shake the feeling that I'm the butt of some inside joke. But maybe that's my detective's paranoia talking. No, it's not paranoia when you're a detective. It's a hunch. It's a gut instinct. And you need to listen to it. That's part of your job. You don't drink, huh? That was an option. That was an option this whole time. We've bungled it from the start. I wouldn't call myself a teetotaler, but I do like to stay sharp. I too like to stay sharp. Looking sharp, pointed angles. Right. Well, drinking partner, since you've twisted me into this, who exactly am I toasting with again? My name is Maya, and I'll endeavor to make sure you won't forget it. 100% not a gangster. Ellipses. How the hell am I supposed to read this guy? If I didn't know better, I'd almost think he was trying to... L'chaim. Exclaiming some sort of toast. Some sort. August isn't up on his cultures. He clinks his cup against my glass. Oh my gosh, Frank, I love that headcanon. L'chaim. I mimic Myers' pronunciation, and when he happily nods in approval, we both sip our drinks. Look, not as bad as Ed Deluxe, but still feels like I swallowed a gasoline cocktail. Why the puckered face, Jack? Not smooth enough for that tongue of yours? Close. So close. Hair so perfect. Meyer leans in closer, propping his elbow on the counter and gazing at my face. What kind of report is August going to be giving tomorrow? It's like, yeah, and then we just left and went to a motel. That's my report. Here's some cannolis. Well, if he's hell-bent on being friendly, maybe I can pull some sort of information out of him. I bet he knows something. He's got that kind of smug air. Yes, yes, woe is me and my delicate tongue. Really, where do they get this stuff? Is it all home brewed? Surely there's a big cellar. Can you lead me to their supplier? I'm so smooth. Of course. Why, the biggest seller in town, no less. Now he's just southern. What is happening? So he does know. Now I just have to... But, more importantly, why don't you tell me a little bit more about yourself? Oh, wow, derailed. August is terrible at this. I don't believe he's done any undercover. Oh, a lot more. I promise you. I won't mind. What is happening? Ugh. All right, play it cool, Richter. I can't rush this, or he'll catch on. I was born in a log cabin. I'm nobody special, really. I help keep civilians safe, serve the city, and all that. Now it just sounds like he's a vigilante. At night, I'm Batman. I know Catherine, right? I'm John, and I'm definitely not a detective. His smirk deepens for some reason. We are so found out. This is not going according to plan. Just another average fella, here to relax after a hard day's work at my job. I'm Vincent Normalson. Hoping to take the edge off. Those are not convinced. Are you just gonna sit there and me all night? Or what? Well, I don't mean to be rude, but I have a sneaking suspicion that you're lying. Ah, found out. Impossible. You can already tell, but I was so slick, so smooth. Was Leslie right? Am I really that bad at this? Yes. Yes, you are. Leslie was 100% correct. Why don't you be honest with me, Jack? For reasons? Be honest with you, I'm not. Meyer leans even more. This time snaking an arm around my shoulders and pulling me in close. I swallow, trying to keep a hold of myself as his lips brush against my ear. He can't know. There's no way he knows. You're really a Simcha, aren't you? A Simcha? Confused, I steal a side glance at Meyer, and his eyes glimmer back at me mischievously. A pimp, of course. Wow! Sure? What? How dare you slap him? I never hustled. I can't fool me with that act, Jack. I saw you looking around earlier for any attractive girls. Subtle as a train wreck. I am subtle as a train wreck, this is true. Lord have mercy. If I have to pretend to be a pimp, I think I'll just run out the door instead. A little laugh spills out of Meyer before he can bite it back. Care to tell me what's so funny? Just teasing. Forgive me, I didn't mean any offense. Nor did I think you'd nearly faint on the spot. But I was quite ready to catch you. Stop flirting with me. I have a job to do. All right. You got me. I was just, horrified that my good name might be ruined. Shook me up. Secretly, of course, I'm mostly only relieved that he didn't actually see through the lie. Oh, come on. You're just being played. He's playing chess and you're playing checkers. That was too close for comfort. Now, naturally, an upstanding civil servant like you is obliged to maintain his saintly reputation, right? This voice is just all of the things right now. I'm so sorry. Bartender, another round for the gentleman, if you please. I have a basic Canadian accent, what can I say? And that was how I got pulled into a night of drinking with my new companion. Good work. I don't need history. I just need to, be paranoid, even though I'm sure it doesn't make that much of a difference because the game is short, but, once I have the option, I need to take it. It soon grows clear that Meyer isn't gonna let anything important slip. He manages to dodge all my questions like a pro boxer ducking punches. He's playing tic-tac-toe! But I'm too invested to turn back. I know he knows something. He knows. And I know he knows something. But we're just dancing around the subject. And as much as I hate to admit it, it's fun talking to him. So much so that I nearly forget what I came here to do. way he gives me all of his attention is, well, flattering in a way. Bartender and doorman are judging us. We're being judged. While we banter back and forth, I notice the sketchy-looking men from earlier throwing glances towards us. Are they looking at me? Admire? Just trying to get the bartender's attention? You're panicking. You said you got this. I can't tell, but I've got a feeling we're being watched. If you don't mind, Jack, I have a question for you. An elbow nudges against my side, interrupting my thoughts. A question? Sure. I'm all ears. And eyes. I turn my head back towards Meyer, only to see him already pressed close to my side. So close. Our cheeks are nearly brushing together. This evening is escalating very quickly. You wouldn't happen to be looking for underground work, would ya? My heart skips a beat. I'm actually succeeding somehow. He's finally bringing it up. You could say that, more or less. Well, in that case, how about we make a deal? I'll trade you a little business information in exchange for something on your end. He whispers conspiratorially to me, lips curled upward in a sly, daring smirk. Something. Huh? What kind of something are we talking about here? Something something? Or like an actual something? Oh, I'm so glad you asked. His breath lightly tickles my cheek. What are you agreeing to, August? I have a muffin to eat, so I'm gonna eat it now as we lead up to whatever this is. For a second, my focus gets a little hazy. All I can see are those sparkling green eyes. They are quite green, aren't they? My mind races through all the things he might want from me. Things I'd normally never think of until... Don't lie. Don't lie, you were thinking about it. Bring me a cassata cake. Food too, just all the people in his life. Cassata cake. The type that Frank's Bakery on the east side. Almost certainly not kosher, but... I won't tell if you don't. I've heard they changed the recipe to something simply amazing. But, let's just say, I'm not welcome in that neighborhood. Not exactly the offer I was expecting. He is 100% a member of the Jewish Mafia. You're not doing your job here. A cake. Right. I'll think about it. No promises. Playing court, are we? Very well. Let's see how it is. He exhales a small laugh that brushes my skin again, sending a little tingle down the nape of my neck. Please think it over carefully. If you decide to accept my offer, come back. Here, tomorrow night. How's that sound, Jack? I hesitantly nod. I can get cake. Cake is a task that Jack Vaughn can accomplish. Can this wise guy really be part of some criminal outfit? Trading information for cakes? If so, it sounds like a kind of mafia I want to join. Cake mafia. Perfect. It'll be plenty worth your while, so keep that in mind. When he finally pulls back, I subconsciously exhale the breath I didn't know I'd been holding. No matter how I look at it, he's acting sweet on me. Of course, it's not like anyone would notice, crowded as this place is. Everybody noticed. They're all gonna go home and write about it. Do you happen to have a favorite kind of drink? Coffee, milk, water, all the hard stuff. He casually throws another question out, catching me off guard. might have it ready for you tomorrow night. Wow, he's gonna get a drink ready for us. Things are they're heating up. There's just a lot happening. That's awful nice of you. NyQuil? My favorite drink, I guess that'd be... Oh yeah, Jack Vaughn. Yeah, maybe Jack Vaughn sounds like he drinks some whiskey. I don't think August would though. Mountain Dew? I don't know, something sweet. A sea breeze? Something sweet to mask how bad it tastes. His eyes widen. He's like, I know just what to make. Meyer stares at me in stunned silence. Now I'm not allowed in the mafia. What? What's with that look? Small choke sound leaks from his throat, the kind you make when you're stifling a laugh. He's razzing me again, isn't he? He's laughing at me. My love of sea breeze. A Long Island iced tea. Stop judging August. Yes, of course. Something sweet. I understand. The blood of my enemies. Namita. I'll make sure to take excellent care of both you and your refined palate. Stop laughing at my tongue. You're acting like I've already made up my... You're leaving? Meyer sips the last of his coffee and pushes it away, smoothing his hair back with one hand. There's pomade everywhere. I'm afraid so, Jack. I've got some business to attend to. But I do hope I'll see you tomorrow. Oh, it's nice to drink some match for you. It's a small token of thanks for your delightful company. With a last knowing wink, Meyer steps away from the counter and slips into the crowd, mingling with the drunken sea. Oh, I'm a failure as a detective. He left so suddenly. I wonder what business he's attending to. Totally legitimate business this late at night. It's all legit. Well, never mind. I guess that concludes tonight's investigation. What a ride. I leave the speakeasy, unsure whether Meyer pulled one over on me, or if I actually pulled one over on it. That's not what happened. Look, Jack Vaughn, that is not what happened. No. He's sure something. That Meyer, yeah, that's what happened tonight. Thirst happened. Only thirst. No one's ever swept me into their pace so fast before. Look, he's trying this not to say that he got swept off his feet. We all know that's what happened. I can almost still feel the warmth of his breath on my skin, and he's already gone. He's already gone. August is gone. He's left the building. Just the drink talking. Just the drink. And with that poor attempt to reassure myself, I stuff my hands in my pockets and begin the sobering walk home. Home we go. Back at the office. The gentle chirping of birds outside the window. The laughter of children on their way to school. The blinding sun. Ugh. Why is our office so goddamn bright? Oh, my head. The things I do for this job. I swear. All that hard work of hanging out and having an attractive, totally not mobster buy me drinks. Life's hard. As I sit in my chair sipping my morning coffee and trying to ignore this horrible hangover, my eyes drift to the clock. Leslie's even later than normal. I hope nothing's wrong. If he doesn't come in soon, maybe I should just leave a note and go nap in my car. Good morning! As if I'd summon him from the bowels of sunny hell, Leslie suddenly bursts into the office. In one hand, he's holding a stack of paperwork, and in the other, come on, cannolis. 3, 2, 1. Cannolis? Is that a cake? No, it's okay. Can I have that cake? I need to get into the mafia. Fresh from Frank's Bakery. I tell you, those fellows really nailed the whatever this is. Leslie reaches into the paper bag to grab a piece and happily stuffs it in his face, chewing away with relish. That cake is so I can join the mafia. Stop eating it. Ellipses. That's the exact same cake Meyer asked for last night, isn't it? They're in it together. It's a conspiracy. We've been in the mafia this whole time. Nobody told August. Is this some kind of conspiracy? It is. It is, 100%. Is every man in Cleveland eating these cakes? Except me? Oh? Pausing, Leslie leans in to peer at my face, frowning gently. You look a little under the weather, Richter. Your hair's all messy too, and I haven't even gotten my hands on it yet. Who messed up your hair that wasn't Leslie? Actually, I believe there is an OT3 option. Wait, don't tell me. No, you're not hungover, are you? Richter, you naughty boy. Listen, boss, could we just get to our reports? Changing the subject, I see. Absolutely shameless. Leslie, who seems to think my hangover is the funniest thing in the world, chuckles all the way over to his office chair. Yeah, laugh it out of your system while I sit here hoping for a spontaneous eclipse. I'll let you start off then, my little partying partner. What did you find out last night? In between shots, that is. Shots fired. Well, from what I heard, it sounds like the Italians aren't running the speakeasy, or even most of the liquor business. If I had to guess, it's either a big street gang or the Jewish mafia. That was why he was there. You were undercover. The Jewish mafia. It's true they've been growing in size around here lately, or so I've heard. What makes you think it's them, though? I heard a couple fellas talking about the Italian mafia's competition, so it can't be them. After that, the man I drank with, he was Jewish, and I have a pretty strong feeling he's some kind of mobster. What? No. Meyer, a mobster? No. Get out of here. Oh, tell me more. Leslie's just the chat. Did he have a big car? Perking up curiously, Leslie props his chin on his hands and leans forward to gaze at me from across his desk. He's got a bit of whipped cream on one corner of his mouth, but I pretend not to notice. Guy said his name was Meyer, for starters. He was well dressed, a little too confident, and I love him. Should I tell Leslie about the flirting? I mean, he doesn't really need to know, and I'd sort of like to enjoy the memory without being scolded, but... And... Ellipses. No, is this... Okay, is this our memory? Is this our special time? Or do we need to tell Leslie? I don't want to tell him. This is our time? It's a special thing. It was between us. It was our wonderful night. And he seemed... Can I save now? I can! Ha ha ha. What was that noise? We'll come back. I mean, there's only a couple routes, but you know me. I need to see them all. He seemed important. I think he's important. Maybe a spy. Maybe an assassin. Not sure. That escalated really quickly. Maybe an assassin? Yeah, Viper, it's free. For all of you who are interested in checking it out, I also have the link down below. This is a free game to play. Important. Why do you think he was talking to you? Have you not seen all of the Augustness? Beats me. Maybe he just wanted a drinking partner. 100% not flirting. Look at his face. He's like, stop lying to me. Leslie drums his fingers on his desk, frowning thoughtfully. He didn't see through your cover. Sure didn't act like it. If he did, I'm still alive, right? He 100% acted like it. He knows. I'm not going to this detective agency. Fair point. Maybe your lying skills really have improved. His chair squeaks as he leans back, propping his feet up on the desk. And I just cleaned the mud off it yesterday, too. So he's important, maybe part of the mafia, but he didn't bump you off. What do you plan to do about him? All kinds of things. So many things. I was getting to that. Oh, I'm listening. He gestures for me to continue. Meyer offered me a deal for information. A deal? You're serious? I nod, barely resisting the urge to rub my forehead. Details on the mob in exchange for... This is so ridiculous, I can barely say it out loud. In exchange for a cake. Look at his face! Just the eyebrow drop of disappointment. Oh, come off it, Richter. Tell me what he actually wanted. He wants my cake. It's true. I know you're trying to get revenge for me teasing you, but I'm being serious, boss. He wanted a cake. Pointing at the paper bag that holds Leslie's half-eaten breakfast, I put on the straightest face I can manage. It's from the neighborhood around Little Italy, right? Obviously that place is owned by the Italian gangs, so he can't get too close. But as for why he wants one, I've got no clue, boss. Maybe a kid at home who likes them, sweet tooth, forbidden fruit. August, you're so thirsty. Like, he's just gonna go up to Meyer and be like, so you got a wife, kids, tell me about your life. It reeks of a setup, Richter. Isn't that obvious? Leslie wrinkles his nose about the reaction I'd expected, and really not an unfair one. I thought about that. Believe me. No, you didn't. But if it was a setup, why would he invite me back? Because most setups take more than one part, August. Wouldn't it have been easier to get rid of me right there? No, because he wants to know how much you know. Detectiving. And he could have made his offer sound more serious, too. Anyone with half a brain would be suspicious. That's true, I suppose. I still don't like it, though. Not one bit. He lets out a heavy sigh, sticking a hand into the bag with his cake and tearing off a piece to idly munch on. Well, while you were having the time of your life last night, I was chatting with Mr. FBI. Apparently, one of the city's politicians is hosting a big party at the hotel tonight. Thanks to our contact, I've got his passes inside. I actually did work. Because you know what's going to be at that party, my dear Richter. A lot of liquor? A hell of a lot of liquor. Probably provided by the main source in Cleveland. Leslie and I exchanged knowing looks. I can already see what he's getting at. We've got to go undercover at this party. So you want to scope it out for information. It's a good bet and a safe one. Once folks get drunk, there's no telling what kind of juicy information we'll get out of them. Just look at you. If we're lucky, some of it might actually even be related to our case. I wouldn't count on it. I learned nothing. We snicker in our line of work. Both of us have seen our fair share of these ritzy orgies. They're already prepared. I think you should come to the party with me tonight. With your smarts and my good looks, we're bound to find something out. August's smarts. August smarts. Just throwing that out there. And if you want my honest opinion... Leslie goes thoughtfully silent for a moment. Then a more serious look darkens his brow. I think this rendezvous at the Speak is too risky. Even if Meyer doesn't mean you any harm, any other mob types around there might not feel the same way. But I also don't think you're green enough to walk into a death trap. Gee, thanks, boss. When I roll my eyes, Leslie offers me a soft, affectionate smile. The kind he only puts on once in a blue moon. I'm heading to the party either way, but I trust your judgment, Richter. You can decide for yourself where you go tonight. Oh, choices. Oh, don't give me any choices. I'm gonna make the wrong choice. I've gotta bring a totally not gangster some cake. What'll it be? It'll be saving it. As much as I hate to disappoint Leslie, my instincts are telling me the speakeasy's worth a gamble. It's a risk, no doubt about it, but one I feel I have to take. Shifting out of my chair, I approach Leslie's desk and lean over it, giving him a firm look to show my conviction. Sorry, boss. I'm gonna try my luck with Meyer. There's a lead there. I just know it. We probably would have had to go to the party if I'd said that he flirted, because Leslie would have been like, what? No one touches your hair but me. Like I expected, Leslie doesn't look too thrilled by my choice. But true to his word, he soon lets out a good-natured sigh. Heartlessly leaving your partner in the dust. So this is what it's come to, eh? Fine, I'll just enjoy the free party food by myself. Alone? Not even gonna bring me back a sandwich? Ask your new friend for one. Ask him to share his cake. Leslie huffs and I snicker at his playful sulkiness, although I have to wonder if a little bit of it isn't genuine. 100%. It's really genuine. All right. But if you go, promise me you'll station a few officers near the speakeasy, just in case something goes wrong. Let's just make it as suspicious as possible. Come on. You never know when trouble might pop up. Yeah, that's fair. I'll make the calls this morning. Good boy. Then I won't... Well, I'll worry less about you. He reaches out to ruffle my hair. Luckily, it was already a mess, so he can't inflict much more damage. Now let's cannonball into that stack of paperwork. Been looking forward to it all morning. We spend the rest of the day going through reports, most of them related to Italian gang activity on the east side. It doesn't exactly put me at ease for when I leave the office, heading towards Little Italy to pick up Meyer's cake. I keep picturing his face, and my mind wanders to how he might react when I hand this to him. Will it really make him happy? That's my only desire in life. I don't care about taking down bootleggers anymore. Aside from those distracting thoughts, my bakery trip is an uneventful one. Prized cargo in hand, I end up at the speakeasy just as night's settling in. Welcome, sir. Please enjoy your night. Hopefully, fingers crossed. The doorman gives his customary greeting, and I casually nod while stepping past. Customary? You've been there 2 nights. What do you know? Here I am, a detective on a risky job, just yelling at the center of the room. I'm a detective! Shuffling into a speakeasy with a cake and a paper bag, like some kid holding on to his school lunch. Not my finest moment. The place is packed full, just like last night, which means I can't really pick Meyer out easily. I guess if I hang around the bar long enough, maybe he'll show up. Oh, it's Mr. Jack. A hoarse voice different from Meyer's growls out behind me. I turn to see one of those rough-looking men I noticed last night staring at me suspiciously. I'm gonna pat you down. Make sure you aren't healed. Understand? What? No one did this to me last night. What's the big deal? Would you shut up? I'm not here to answer questions. Before I have a chance to protest further, he grabs me and starts patting my pockets, roughly feeling around. Need an adult. Security. I mean, different security. Sorry, buddy. I'm gonna be taking this for tonight. Not my cake! Not my cake! The man pulls out the piece I've been carrying as insurance, just in case things went south. Oh, my gun. Well, I still have the cake, though. We all know that's what really matters. Well, now I feel even more like a defenseless kid. Great. Just don't pull any dumb moves. You'll be fine. We like to keep things real cordial around here. Got it? Yeah. I got it. Good. Then we'll be heading to the back room. What? Why? Whatever you... Wait. The back room? The back dimension? Wait, where are you taking me? Wait! The man suddenly grabs my wrist, pulling me along the speak's perimeter. My heart starts to pound in my chest. What am I getting dragged into? I told the officer not to get close to the place unless I was gone for a while, but who knows what'll happen in the meantime. My semi-captor takes me to the back of the parlor and down a long, dark corridor. The music and laughter fade slowly into the distance, replaced by only the sound of our footsteps. Dun, dun, dun. Finally, we reach a large black door, and the man knocks firmly on it several times. Come in. Is it Meyer? I brought cake! The door opens into a warmly lit, spacious parlor. Not exactly the scary, dank room I'd been expecting. They can still break your thumbs in here. Like, it doesn't matter if the room's nice. They can just change the carpet. Ellipses. And there, in the middle of a lush couch, sits a familiar tall man. Mr. Eastman, your friend's here. Called it. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Bad detective. Yes, I can see that. Thank you for bringing him in. Make sure no one intrudes on this, if you're so kind. Oh gosh, no interruptions. Yes, sir. With a polite nod, the other man departs, closing the door behind him with a soft click. Once he's gone, Meyer and I stare at each other for a few seconds in silence. I can only think that this dramatic reintroduction was deliberate. He knows I can read the subtext. Can you? August, can you? I don't know. I want to give you the benefit of the doubt, but... Well, I brought your cake. This and the jazz music in the back, it can only go one way. I lift the bag in my hand and shake it a little, laughing nervously. Ah, I knew I could count on you. A pleased smile slowly spreads over his lips, and the sight makes me relax a little. He pats the couch beside him, and I don't exactly feel like I'm in a position to refuse. I approach and tentatively lower myself down, sinking into the soft cushions. Why, you're as stiff as a sheet of glass. What's wrong, Jack? Your secretary back there wasn't exactly the most gentle of fellas. I apologize. They're used to dealing with coarser individuals than yourself. You see, and I forgot to tell him to use kid gloves. It's not that. I just wasn't quite expecting all of this. You weren't? We were all expecting this. We've been new. We were waiting. All this. You mean a nice back room and a speakeasy? Meyer gives me a faux innocent look. That's obviously what I was referring to. Anyway, here. Your prize. I hope it didn't get smushed when your lackey was jostling me around. I offer Meyer the bag with the cake, and his eyes light up when he takes it from my hands. Wonderful. I can smell it already. My rabbi used to say, but I cannot pronounce that, so I'm not even going to try. But I like to pretend it doesn't apply to cakes. You know you shouldn't be eating this cake. He gazes longingly at the bag for a moment, then sets it to one side. A smile finds its way onto my lips before I even realize it. The way he likes sweets so much really reminds me of Leslie. Oh, before I forget, I have something for you, Jack. Myra leans around the edge of the sofa, grunting softly before straightening back up with a bottle in hand. It's full of a golden liquid, but I don't recognize the label. You want something a little sweeter, right? You remembered. It was last night. I'd be really concerned if he didn't. I have an excellent memory, especially when it comes to people who catch my interest. He takes a glass from the table beside him and starts to pour me a drink, humming softly. I notice that he's already got a half-empty cup of coffee for himself, black as the night. This is Silvervitz, sweetened with honey. I've never sampled it myself, but one of my men swears by it. Untested! Don't just... No! I prefer to take my sweets in something of a little different fashion, though. Like this cake. Nothing suggestive here. 100% talking about food. Meyer hands me the glass, letting his fingers brush against mine for a moment longer than necessary. Thanks. You're quite the host. I especially loved when your lackey took my gun and hustled me into this back room and no one knows where I am. You expect anything less? He turns a little bit on the sofa, propping one elbow against the back so he can gaze at me head on. Feeling slightly embarrassed under his stare, I take a curious sip of the drink. Damn, it goes down so easy. I'm sorry. Just with the context of everything happening, that sentence. Good enough that I can see why you're not serving it out there. Man has to make a living, unfortunately. Buying and transporting high-quality goods is expensive, not to mention risky. I'd much prefer to serve good liquor of the common swill, but it's not quite feasible yet. He pauses for a thoughtful moment, though his eyes flick back to my face soon after. Well, about the information I owe you. Assuming you're still interested in work. Work! In quotation marks. Oh no, look at that pan. That's a sexy pan. As I nurse my drink, Myra begins to describe the main mafia figures in the city, along with the various rackets they keep in great detail. Combined with everything else I've seen tonight, I think it confirms my suspicions. He's near the top of the underworld food chain in Cleveland. Now, I have to bust you up. No, he doesn't have handcuffs. Let's not pretend. He's not even trying to hide it. In fact, I think he's just playing a game with me, seeing how far we can take this before one of us has to state the obvious. Knowing that, you would think I'd be more uncomfortable right now. But for whatever reason, being around Meyer puts me completely at ease. Maybe it's his disarming casual mannerisms, or the soft and smooth way he speaks. There's nothing aggressive or thug-like about him. He's perfectly composed. Occasionally, he shifts on the sofa beside me, brushing my leg with his own, in a way that can't possibly be an accident. The suggestive leg brush. I can't tell what's going on behind his twinkling green eyes, but there's something playfully devious about the glances he keeps giving me. And I think that would maybe make our trade just about even. No. He finishes his thorough description with an impish wink, taking a sip of his coffee. You sure are familiar with all the gang activity here, aren't you? Smoothest detective. Jack Vaughn solves all the cases. If I didn't know better, I'd almost think you controlled some of it yourself. And then no one saw August again. Leslie was sad and had to hire a new assistant. Me? Why, I'm not sure what would lead you to such an outrageous conclusion. Instead of looking offended, though, Meyer presses in a little closer, his smirk suddenly growing mischievous. After all, it's rather rash to assume things about people you don't know particularly well. Don't you agree, Richter? Dun dun dun! Ah! It was obvious. How do you... He smugly lifts the cake bag, rustling it before my face. Name is on the label. Fail. Detective fail. Fired. 100% fired. A mistake I wouldn't expect from you, if you'll pardon my rudeness. We are distracted at the time you purchased it. My accent is everywhere. Everything is happening. I'm not about to mention how I was daydreaming about him when I bought the cake. I think I'd rather just let my professional pride take the fall. Radius the tic-tac-toe master. Of course, I know you're a detective too. And I can guess why you're here. But please, don't take it as a blow to your acting skills. I'm just well acquainted with a number of professional liars, you see. No, don't try and make him feel better. That's just to make him feel better. If you already know so much about me, why are you pouring me drinks rather than having me shot and dumped in the alley? Meyer clicks his tongue, lightly wagging a finger at me. Oh, the Violence is not how I prefer to do business, Richter. It's only ever a temporary solution. Violence begets violence, which is why I have war in Italian crime families rather than one consolidated, powerful body. No, in most circumstances, I would much rather make friends than enemies. Friends like you, which is why you're not being dumped in an alley. Although, I would never harm a shining puny like you, no matter what my moral code was. Also, just so you know, this game comes with a glossary. This game comes with a lot, honestly, for being free. He shifts on the sofa again, this time letting his legs stay resting against my own. I swallow, relieved at Meyer's explanation. Relieved, but acutely aware of his face being a mere few inches to my right. Just so thirsty. Everything has failed. Your entire operation is bust. You're about to have to go to the dark side and take bribes, but you're like, his leg in his face. You certainly aren't like any other guy I've met, law-abiding or otherwise. Why don't you tell me more about what it's like being in this risky business? I clumsily attempt to slide the conversation in another direction, daring to glance over at Meyer. No, please. I know a one-sided agreement when I see one. With the gloating air of someone who's just caught their opponent cheating, Meyer shakes his head. I'll answer a few of your questions, but only on the condition I can ask questions of my own. I swear on my honor to answer with the truth, and y'all do the same. But we can each avoid one question in exchange for a favor. So truth or dare? You're gonna play truth or dare, okay? Does that strike you as fair? His tone casually rides up at the end, not so subtly daring me to accept. I think I'd be an idiot to expect a businessman like yourself to play fair. But all right, I'll bite. That's what I like to hear. Meyer gives me a rakish, teasing grin, all too pleased with my reply. As a gesture of goodwill, I'll even let you start. Really? How do you make any money with that kind of generosity? Oh, you'd be surprised. As Meyer chuckles to himself, I pause and ponder on just what to ask. Are you single? Do you have kids? What do I most want to know about? I want to know most about saving and making good life choices. What do we want to know? What do we want to know? What do we want to know? Do we want to actually pretend that we're good detectives and ask about the gang, or do we just want to know more about him? Tell me about yourself. Tell me all about yourself. I don't know. Oh, we're split. Cake. Cake. Oh, go on. Who are we pretending? Oh, wow. I didn't expect him. Okay. Tell me. I thought maybe it's history in the gang. Okay, this straight up. Tell me about your background, your history. What it was like for you growing up. I want to know everything about you. I love you. My question seems to catch Meyer off guard. But his surprise quickly shifts into a gentle, pleased expression, and he nods in acknowledgement. His tragic backstory. Ooh. I was raised in a cozy little Jewish community in Missouri, where I lived until a few years ago. I'm sure you'll find this hard to believe, but I always kept to myself as a boy. I rarely spoke to anyone. I suppose you could say I was afraid of rejection. Our rabbi was my closest friend. We ate corned beef sandwiches, talked about baseball on the weekends. Looking back now, I think he was just as lonely as I was. He chuckled softly, gaze flicking down to the coffee table and lingering on his cup. I can't imagine Meyer ever being withdrawn. I guess he didn't develop his charisma until later. Several days after my bar mitzvah, wow, I can't even talk because I'm trying to do so many accents. A few boys who I'd never seen before approached me on the street. Meyer, they said, you're a tall, strong guy. Why the hell are you playing with the rabbi instead of making money? I realized I didn't have much of an answer. We formed a merry little crew. It was enjoyable to have that kind of attention from my peers, and my desire to fit in was why I began doing jobs with them. Eventually, my name got a certain reputation. The association grew. People started looking up to me, and somehow, I ended up on top of it all. Meyer's eyes returned to me. I can't really read the true emotion behind them. Nostalgia? Regret? Or satisfaction? Why not all three? All of them. All is good. The rabbi, you know whatever happened to him? We don't speak anymore. Yeah, I can imagine. I don't think he's proud of you becoming a gangster. He gives me one of those brief, thin-lipped smiles. The kind you only show to be polite. Again, it's hard to see through what it means, but only because August is the world's worst detective. But I can detect a little longing in his voice. You know, I'd always separated mobsters from real people in my head. Like you were all just monsters who'd lost your humanity. August is rationalizing hard. But listening to you talk, I guess it makes me realize how we're not so different after all. I twirl my glass between my fingers, unsure if that knowledge makes me more happy or grim. Ellipses. Meyer studies me in silence for a little while. It's not an awkward silence, though. It's just a thoughtful one. Well, your turn. For a question. You have one? Oh, I have many. When the silence finally breaks, Meyer gives me a wry grin, his eyes momentarily flicking down to my mouth. Yeah, I'm listening. Alright. What's your greatest fear? My greatest fear? He nods, watching me expectantly. No immediate answer pops into my head, so I mull over the question for a moment. My greatest fear. Something that would keep me from sleeping at night. Hurting innocent people. Oh? I nod, forcing a brief awkward smile as I take another sip of my drink. Meyer doesn't add anything further, though. Is he waiting for me to elaborate? I just think it's my duty, well, the duty of everyone in law enforcement, to make sure Americans are safe and happy. That's why we exist. It's not just a job you do for money, it's a job that lets you go home feeling better about the world, even if it's just a little bit. Meyer tilts his head a little to one side, eyes glimmering at me. Then his hand slips onto my shoulder, resting there gently for a few seconds before squeezing it. He's just getting closer and closer. Very admirable, Richter. Although, I have to wonder just where a Volstead fits into that. He trails off curiously. Is he trying to lead me somewhere with that vague comment? Everybody is trying to lead you everywhere. Everyone. Well, it's your turn, isn't it? Why don't you ask me something lighthearted? I don't mind if you get more personal. He's asking. He's trying to take it up to the next level. He leans in a little more, hand still lingering on my shoulder. I can smell his light cologne and the subtle, earthy scent of coffee. I've been trying desperately to keep my nerves under control, but it's getting harder and harder the more Meyer teases into my personal space. Wow, we can just go full first now. Like, what's your favorite hobby? Or, oh my god, are we gonna do it on this couch? Like, those are our two options, essentially. You know what? We'll just blame it on the alcohol. It's, you know what? Sure. It's not just that August makes bad choices. Do you have a lover? A wife? Yeah, I know, Nikki. Is he single? You must, right? Being the cat's meow and all. He's called him the cat's meow. You're not smooth. No. No? Well, get ready. Tie comes off. Meyer responds casually, offering a little shrug when I shoot a glance over at him. Is it my imagination? Or does he look incredibly smug right now? Oh my gosh, Adrian. That's right. Whatever you pick, it leads back to it. Why are you wearing that expression? Are you so very surprised? Or maybe you're relieved? He knows. He's been reading us like a book since we walked in. No, just surprised is all. I really didn't think you'd still be a bachelor. And why's that? Because I'm the cat's meow. That deserves to be made fun of, honestly. Can we just get on with the next question? Pausing, Meyer makes a show of tapping a finger against his bottom lip, turning his eyes towards the ceiling. It's such an obvious display that I know for a fact he's already got his question picked out, and he's just toying with me. I drain the last of my glass in an attempt to act casual, turning my head away slightly. Ah, I got one. What memory do you have of your first kiss? Please, describe it in great detail. Whoa, woo-hoo-hoo. This is going into some kinky areas. I nearly choke on my drink. So this is what he was planning all along. I am shocked and surprised. I had no idea the evening was going to turn out like this. I am not that kind of woman. Like, we all know this is where it was going. I'm listening. Very attentively. Hold on, Damn it, I know this is what he wants me to say, but it'll be a cold day in hell before I tell this guy I've never properly kissed anyone before. Virgin AU. It's all happening. 1920s mobster. Like, everything is happening. Can I just trade the favor? Oh. Don't feign surprise. In that case, I suppose I'll take you up in that favor right now. I reflexively squeeze my eyes shut, sucking in a breath. It feels like my chest is going to explode. Richter? What are you doing? Preparing. I reopen one eye to see Myra staring at me quizzically. Oh my gosh, can you imagine if August really did read all of this wrong? Myra's just a really touchy person. I thought he... No, of course he wouldn't. He's too much of a gentleman. Just a little dizzy from the drink. So, what did you want from me? For the favor? This is where he just goes full mobster. You're gonna protect my interests. And August gets played. Well, you'll probably think me a fool for saying this, but... Reaching for the bag at his right, Myra lifts it up and sighs happily, slipping his hands inside to unwrap the cake. I'd like you to share it with me. Share? The cake? He nods, pulling the paper wrapping to reveal the delicious-looking spongy white dessert. I'd feel guilty enjoying it by myself, especially considering you bought it for me. So I prefer we savor it together. Does that sound agreeable? I haven't had a thing since lunch, so you're asking the right guy. You've been drinking this much without eating anything? Oh my god, August! I have so many concerns for this detective agency. Should we just cut it in half, or what? No. Uh-oh, look at that devious face. You're gonna feed it to me. This is the second game we've played in a while that's had this in it. Sarah, I'd go for that. I would go for that. I blink at Meyer, unsure if I heard him correctly. He gazes back at me calmly. Yeah, Katisa, you know what's up? I definitely didn't mishear that, did I? Or if you want, then should I go get a fork, or... That won't be necessary. Come, take a bite. Meyer offers the cake to me, along with a daring raise of his brow. I feel like I just walked right into a trap. That happened a long time ago. But I knew that from the beginning, didn't I? Yes, you did. You did. And I came here all the same, because I wanted it to happen. I take a small bite of the cake, letting the fluffy sweetness rest on my tongue. Then, Meyer gently curls a finger under my chin, gradually closing the distance between us. His chest pressed against mine, pinning me to the back of the sofa. There's no need to be embarrassed, Richter. He breathes those words against my cheek, pulling my jaw down ever so slightly to part my lips. Yup! Achievement! Slowly, delicately, he covers my mouth with his own. The sweet flavor mingles between our tongues, but my head feels so foggy that I can barely think about how it tastes. Meyer teases me with maddeningly light, soft kisses, pulling back a little bit each time I start to press forward. He's really trying to provoke me, isn't he? Well, it's working. Ellipses. I bite down hard in his lower lip, exhaling a hot, impatient breath. Momentarily, his chest presses harder against mine. His kisses suddenly grow more aggressive, hard and deep, so intense that I have to gasp for air whenever I can. I pull his coat off his shoulders, grasping needily at his shirt, letting my hands wander all over his powerful body. Just as his tongue starts to slip into my mouth, I remember that I'm a detective! He pulls back again, this time breaking into a devilish grin. If I'd known that you would be so eager, I would have done this a lot sooner. He could have done this the first night. Let's not even pretend. August was down for this the first night. Are we gonna spend the whole night talking? Or share some more of that cake? Now he's aggressive. I can't disappoint my favorite detective now, can I? It would be horrible if you clapped me in shackles and brought me in for interrogation after all. See, this was all you got played. Played with his sexy cake. You sound pretty excited about that idea, actually. Can you blame me? Myers swipes a finger through the cake's icing. Then presses it past my lips. I suckle on it without hesitation, lapping the sweetness off his fingertip, a faint moan leaking from my throat before I can contain it. It's good cake. Richter. Well, now there's tongue in this image. Myers suddenly leans in for another kiss, trailing his finger along my bottom lip. This time he's the impatient one, his tongue pressing insistently against my lips until I part them. It greedily swirls inside my mouth, tangling with my own tongue, as Meyer presses me roughly against the couch. It's like he can't get enough of me, and I can't get enough of him. I grasp his hips and keep pulling forward, wanting more and more. As we trade eager wet kisses, my mind hazily wanders towards a certain question. What am I doing? Do I have to quit the detective agency? What is my life? What am I really doing here? No, seriously, that is a valid question. Am I trying to live out some detective seduced by mobster fantasy? Yes. Yes, you are. Or is it like Myers said? Are we just two men outside of our opposite professions, savoring each other's company? When did he say that? You said that. You said that. If Leslie could see me right now, I don't know what he'd think, or if he'd even find it excusable. But if I'm so easily turned away from my duties by a gangster, maybe I was never cut out for this line of work to begin with. Maybe I was always meant to be a mobster. I'll become a gangster's moll, have a wonderful life. One of Myers' hands drifts down my chest, slipping around my waist to squeeze my hip. I normally wouldn't do this on a first date, especially since I'd like to give you a reason to come back. He heatedly murmurs a string of words in between breathless kisses, not giving me a moment to reply. But it doesn't feel like you'll need too much convincing. Whoa! What are you saying? What are you saying about August? His fingers tease along my inner thigh, sending shivers through me from head to toe. Just a little bit higher. A little higher. No! Look at his face. He's like, how dare you? Someone's about to get shot. A frantic knock at the door makes both of us jerk apart. Myers smooths back his hair and clothes, sitting back and clearing his throat. I do none of that stuff, so I just look disheveled as heck. Come in. The door instantly flies open and one of Myers' men bolts inside because we were in there too long and now the cops are here. Mr. Eastman. Mr. Eastman, there's a bunch of cops sniffing around right outside the joint. I think something's about to go down if we don't stop them. Wait! I can stop them. Stagger out drunkenly. There's nothing to worry about. We were wrong. Those are my guys. Safety precaution. I jump up from the sofa, inwardly kicking myself. Why did I bring backup? I knew what tonight was. I lost track of time and there's no excuse. It's all right, Richter. Half of them are on my payroll anyway. I'm a great mobster. Myers' gentle voice calls to me reassuringly. Go put your men at ease. Maybe by some grand stroke of fate, he'll end up here tomorrow. We can resume our talk. He's winking. He's winking. You all see it. He puts on one of his wickedly innocent smiles, winking at me. Thanks. I hope I can see you soon. You doubtlessly will. I mean, he is a prominent mobster in the town. You will definitely in your line of work. With a hasty nod, I turn and follow the other man to the door, smoothing back my own ruffled hair. Lucky for me, those officers probably aren't being paid enough to ask many questions. Oh, and Richter. He calls out to me just as I'm about to cross the threshold, and I glance back at him. Don't forget about what your real duty is. August completely forgot. He is 100% forgotten. Good night. Myers' man shuffles me along to the exit before I have a chance to reply. Does he give me back my gun? Because I'd like it back. My real duty? What the hell does he mean by that? Maybe it doesn't mean anything, but those words stick in the back of my mind, even as I leave the speakeasy to reassure the officers I'm all right and defuse the situation. Hopefully I'll get a chance to see Meyer tomorrow, and I'll ask him then. My heart's still pounding from the end of our talk. When I finally get home and roll into bed, there's no way I can fall asleep, so I spend the night restlessly tossing and turning. I'd rather be hungover than this. Infatuation doesn't fade away half as easy. Not when you're as thirsty as August. Oh. Oh my. What are we gonna tell Leslie? Morning, boss. I stumble into the office feeling like a corpse dragged out of its grave. Coffee. Richter? This is the second day in a row you've come in looking like a bedraggled cat. Do you need to have an intervention? Yes, but it's not the kind of intervention you think. I'm fine. Just couldn't sleep. Christ, something really is messed up when Leslie shows up at work before me. He lets out a long, playful sigh, shaking his head before taking a sip of his coffee. Well, don't keep me in suspense. Oh, well, let's give you the G-rated version. Question mark. Oh no. Your escapades last night, of course. What happened? What did you find out? Oh, yeah, right. With my own coffee mug in hand, I sink down into my chair, clearing my throat. Gonna have to leave out some of the details here, I think. Most of them. All of them. My new friend, Mr. Meyer Eastman, well, he gave me some information about the powerful mob players in the city. Ooh, you could become his ally, and you could just out all the other people he told you about and leave his gang intact. We can do this. We can be a gangster's mall and detective. We're gonna make it happen. Seems like he's really in the loop. Look at Leslie's face. He knows. The already pale Leslie suddenly seems to grow a shade paler. He slowly sets down his coffee and leans forward over his desk, brow furrowing as he stares at me. Did you say Eastman? Sure did, boss. Why? Why? Yes? Are you losing your hearing already, boss? You're not that... Oh. Because Eastman is the man running all of Cleveland. That's why. Leslie raises his voice in excitement and frustration, slamming his fists down on his desk. All of Cleveland? Yes, all of Cleveland. I found out about him last night at the party I went to. He's well-liked and hugely powerful, and most of Cleveland's Italian mafia is terrified of him. I don't know how on earth you managed to get in his good books, but Eastman is the key to taking down this city's liquor business. In fact, I think that speakeasy itself might be his main base. After we get a bit more information, we should set up a raid. But August doesn't want to do that. August doesn't like this plan. I figured Meyer was powerful, but I had no idea he was running all of Cleveland. Leslie's right, obviously. Our department is supposed to be working with the FBI to enforce prohibition here, which means shutting down criminal outfits. This should be a huge step forward. If that's the case, then why do I feel so reluctant? It's not like Meyer trusts me. In fact, I'm sure he doesn't, but I can't imagine putting him behind bars. Last night was probably just a game. His attempt to manipulate me onto his side. As I close all of my things again, because I'm just too shocked. I'm too shocked by the decision we have to make. And yet, it didn't feel like that at all. Oi, Richter. Are you spacing out? Do you need more coffee? I snapped back to the moment, greeted by a curious Leslie staring at me quizzically. No, I was just thinking, boss. We're going about this the wrong way. The wrong way. You have a different idea? When I nod, Leslie tilts his head to the side, motioning for me to continue. If there's anything I give him credit for, it's that he's usually willing to listen to what I say, even if I'm the junior partner. Let me keep talking to Eastman. Talking. I'll get more details out of him, I promise. We shouldn't throw him in jail. Not yet. That's my face, like, it's 2 days. Eastman works fast. Leslie stares at me in stunned silence. Does it really sound that strange? Did you hit your head on your way home last night, Richter? This is a mob boss we're talking about. He's dangerous, not in line to be the next pope, and I don't know what he said to you, but you shouldn't believe him. He didn't say a lot to me. Just because he hasn't killed you yet, doesn't mean he won't once you've outlived your usefulness. Haven't you thought about that? August will never outlive his usefulness. His frustrated, skeptical words echo my own thoughts, as much as I hate to admit it. Maybe it's stupid to try and deny them, but before I can control myself, I blurt out the first thing that comes to my mind. I love him! He's not a murder machine, Leslie. He's not a one-sided villain who was born bad. Ellipses. Sure, most mobsters out there are ruthless, but so are a lot of normal people. Mafia guys aren't some special breed, evil to their rotten cores. Meyer, he's a businessman. Oh, wow. He's gone. He's a businessman. He's using the law for profit. I know that. And I'm not saying I think it's right. But after talking to him, spending time with him, seeing how he's just a guy like any other, I'll be damned if I don't have more sympathy for him than whatever rich old highbinder is handing down orders in the FBI. Leslie stays quiet, biting his bottom lip. I know, so he's a nervous habit of his and avoiding my gaze for a long time. Then he pulls out some handcuffs and arrests me. I never raise my voice at him, nor anyone else for that matter. I instantly feel a little sheepish about it, but I didn't know how else to express my change of heart. Is that what we're calling it? Finally, Leslie rubs at his eyes with one hand and gently sighs, a small smile twitching at the corners of his lips. He stands up from his desk and walks over to me, giving me one of those affectionate, "What am I going to do with you" looks. I guess not all that surprised. Well, I mean, if anybody knows August, they shouldn't be surprised. You've always been compassionate and honest, probably why you're a terrible liar. He pauses, reaching out to gently ruffle my hair. There's still a worried crease in his brow, but I think he's trying his hardest to believe me. If you really, really think this man isn't out to just screw us over and he'll be of use to the investigation somehow, then I suppose I'm willing to go along with it. For a little while, at least. Boss! A little while. I said, hey, what? I jump out of my chair and pull Leslie into a hug, tightly squeezing his wiry frame. He stiffens for a moment, but eventually wraps his arms around me too softly, patting my back. I'm sorry, Leslie. One day it will be your time. You should join us. I sure hope you know what you're doing, Richter. If something ever happened to you, well, let's just say I have a hard enough time living with myself already. Why? Because you're so high maintenance? Exactly. You know how many times a day I have to feed myself? It's very difficult, and having guilt on my shoulders wouldn't help things any. I'll be fine, boss. Don't worry about me. As we pull apart, I gaze down to Leslie's face for a moment. He still doesn't look fully convinced. And it's perfectly reasonable. We're paid to be suspicious. Also, I'm making terrible choices. I'll bring him around to the idea eventually, if everything works out. He's open-minded to just about anything, given enough time. Except vegetables. Maybe. After we discuss things a little more, Leslie and I settle about our usual routine of paperwork, calls, and more paperwork. It's not like our work normally flies by, but today the hours seem especially long. At last, evening rolls around, and August knows what he's doing. When I head outside, my feet start to take me down a familiar road before I even realize it. You know.
Welcome, sir. Please enjoy your night.
Loud music rushes over me in a wave. The familiar sea of dancers, lights, and sparkling glasses. This place is starting to grow on me. To my surprise, I spot Meyer already standing by the bar, cup of coffee in hand as he chats with the bartender. He was waiting, because he knew. He'd sensed the thirst a mile away. Should I go up to him? I don't want to come off too strong. It's a bit late for that. Maybe I should casually strike up a conversation with someone else and wait for... Yeah, what are you doing, August? Who do you think you're fooling? Just as I mull over my plan, Meyer's gaze meets mine. He instantly breaks into a warm smile, beckoning me over. Whew. I wander towards the bar and step up beside him, clearing my throat to buy time as I figure out what to say. Well, seems my little detective wanted back to me. Did your flock of officers decide to come along today too? No, I left them at home with the sitter. Good. I can't tell you how disappointed I was when they decided to interrupt. Whoopsies. His suggestive, airy murmur sends a tingle down the back of my neck. At least I wasn't the only one who was disappointed. Yeah, I was really looking forward to the rest of that cake. I'm afraid I enjoyed the rest of it by myself, but I was thinking of you all the while. Does that make you feel any better? Not one bit. Meyer lets out one of his deep chuckles, low and comforting. It always seems like his sly, evasive mask melts away for a split second whenever he laughs, betraying something vulnerable. August is so far gone, he's crushing harder than that 12-year-old girl. Listen, Richter, if you'd prefer, we can always linger out here and talk. As much as I want to savor all of you in private, I'm more than happy to just enjoy your company, discussing whatever flights of fancy we have. I probably shouldn't have said that. I imagine my seductive air of mystique is all but ruined for you by now. Nothing is ruined, except for August's detective career. Seductive? No, I hadn't even... Never mind. 100%. His leg lightly brushes mine underneath the bar and out of sight. He's so bold, this guy. I can see how he got into his line of work, no doubt about that. Actually, I wanted to ask you some more serious questions. Privacy might work better, just, you know, as a precaution. Pause. I have no doubt that your reasons are entirely... Ah! What? No, what is happening? It's the cops! Leslie. At 2 Leslie? At that moment, the speakeasy door flies open and a small group of officers rush in. Screams echo through the parlor after the music cuts off, but the cacophony quickly goes silent. Eastman's men can't even reach for their guns. The officers are already aiming their own. Leslie. And at the head of the group stands Leslie. Richter! The second our eyes meet, he rushes over to me, releasing a huge sigh of relief. No! What have you done? Richter, thank God you're not hurt. I thought for sure that we had an agreement, Leslie, didn't we? How can you just storm in here after me? Don't you trust me? When I manage a choked accusation, Leslie just shakes his head, eyes narrowed, and says, No, I do not. It's not about trust, Richter. It's not even about the job. To hell with information gathering. The thing I care about most is keeping you safe. You're too honest, too trusting, and I can't just let you run around with people like this, even for the sake of an investigation. He gestures at Meyer angrily, apparently having guessed his identity already. Everybody knows who Meyer is. They just need to look at him and they know. Leslie was really that worried about me. I knew he was still concerned, I just didn't think he'd go this far. Meyer's just standing there. I'm so sorry. Just everybody ellipses. Meyer, who's been entirely silent this whole time, watches us with a carefully measured expression. How can he be so calm? He had no idea this was going to happen. Did he? Gentlemen, I believe there's been some severe miscommunication. Please, Mr. Leslie, tell your men to lower their weapons. Then we can discuss things calmly without the threat of accidental bloodshed. Agreed? Ellipses. Leslie hesitates. There's a very strange degree of trust going on here, but I get the sense that neither of them wants it to end in violence. I know Leslie hates hurting anyone, even criminals, and Meyer doesn't seem the type to enjoy it either. Understood. He signals to the officers, who slowly, reluctantly lower their guns. The tension in the room eases a little bit, though it's still far from calm. Let me say first, Mr. Leslie, that I entirely understand your concern for your partner's safety. But you see, after our friend Richter here showed up the other night, I was struck with an idea. I knew he was a detective because he was terrible at it, before he so much as walked in the door. Your informant's working for me. So I decided to have a chat with him. You mean, back there, that was... Don't get me wrong, Richter. I was enjoying every second of it. But I've been looking for a way to work out an arrangement with the law in Cleveland for some time. You're a hard-hearted sort here, let me tell you. He exhales a breath between his teeth, gently shaking his head. Richter, however, I could tell he was made of something different. Not so hell-bent on enforcing the Volstead Act, yet not just the type to be bought, either. I was intrigued. Yeah, he's not bought. You can't buy him, not with money anyway. So I thought, I'd try to work out a deal. As in, my way. Last night was supposed to be the beginning of that deal, but... Well, I was enjoying the company so much that I thought to myself, what harm can it be to wait a little longer? When Meyer's glimmering eyes settle on me, I feel my heart skip a beat. Maybe several. He invited me back to make a deal, but it spiraled into something more because he enjoyed my company? August is so flattered. He's like, wow. So you really believe we wouldn't try to arrest you? It was a calculated risk, of course. Meyer casually waves one hand. The way he keeps the kind of sang-froid even when surrounded by the law, no wonder he's a leader. He's got that ice-cold blood. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. I like to make big gambles. And usually, they pay off. Well, they definitely paid off for August, because August is gone. But I've done my research on your backgrounds, your past jobs. I knew you wouldn't simply raid my venue without showing a few of your cards first. So, you could say the chips landed where I thought they might. Oh, Victor, August is our lead. Leslie rubs his cheek with a hand, blinking rapidly as if to try and understand everything we just heard. I can't blame him. I knew Meyer was sharp, but I had no idea he'd planned everything out ahead of time. We are terrible detectives. You know, even though we're the ones with our guns out, I can't shake this feeling that we played right into your hand. You really do live up to your reputation, don't you? Don't flirt with him, unless you want to join us. I was expecting Leslie to be furious, but instead he sounds more impressed than anything. Is it possible he actually took some of my words to heart back in the office, or is it now that he's standing in front of Meyer and seeing him that... You mentioned the deal earlier. Care to explain what kind of deal we're talking about? Ah, I was hoping you'd ask that. A particularly satisfied smirk curls on Meyer's lips, the type a man wears when he's just won at cards. Why don't we discuss matters privately, on neutral ground? I'll even let you pick the spot. All of us disarmed, with a few of our men waiting outside. Okay. I'm like, all right. A moment, if you don't mind. Leslie grabs my sleeve and pulls me aside, leaning up to whisper in my ear. What is going on? You really trust him enough for this? Normally I'd say it's suicide, but this Meyer, he's not like any other man I've ever met. He's not like other men. It's like talking to the chief of a big corporation, not a mafia leader. He scratches his head, clearly baffled. It's not like I can blame him. I felt the same way when I first met Meyer the other night. I know he doesn't mean us any harm, boss. He's still a gangster, I can't deny that, but... I pause, swallowing. Better word things delicately, or else Leslie might catch on. I think he genuinely wants to work out a deal with us. All of this would be way too much trouble otherwise. My thoughts exactly. You think we should hear him out then? Without hesitation, I nod. Yes, 100%, I'm already picking the meeting place. Maybe it's an incredibly stupid decision, but I can't bring myself to believe all of last night was just a means to an end. If you don't mind my saying, Mr. Leslie, I gather you're the type to take precautions. Meyer pipes up airily and we both glance over towards him. Should the two of you not show up in perfect health tomorrow, I'm certain I'll have a big hassle on my hands. And that's not what I want, I assure you. You really did do your research, didn't you? It's a favorite hobby of mine. Stalking people that I'm planning to sleep with and get to buy me cake. So that means you know what size underwear Richter wears. Why is this happening? Boss! I'm afraid you'll have to barter for that information. Look at how they're both looking at August. Look at how they're both looking at August. Oh, you drive a hard bargain, do you? I like that. Look at August's face. Great. Just great. It is great. After a little more discussion, the three of us settle on a hotel room for our meeting spot. The unfortunate patrons who had to witness all that, well, they're sent home and promised free drinks when they come back. In this day and age, that's probably enough to risk being shot. Once that mess is sorted out, the three of us head to the hotel with our respective men. I can't even begin to imagine how tonight will end, but I have to hope for the best. Okay, so I think we did it. I think we did it. We achieved achievement. So, what did we think? How do we think that ended? I think we know what happened. Or we can at least imagine this is what fanfics are for. We unlocked an achievement. How many achievements are there? Let me hop up my Steam. There are 2 more achievements. What else do we need? Go over here. Open up. I want to see my achievement progress. Yeah, we got a couple more achievements we could go through. But this was really fun. I really liked this. I mean, especially for something that's free, like this is really solid, and it was a lot of fun. I do want to go back through and play the Leslie route and see there's an image of all 3 of them like together, and so I want to see how we accomplish that. So, thank you so much for hanging out during the day. I hope you enjoyed the day stream. This was a lot of fun. If you're interested in the game, link down below. You can play it for yourself, and we will hang out again soon. So yes, thank you so much. Oh, I see, Kit Kat. I see ya. Well, we're definitely gonna have to do that, aren't we? We're gonna do that. We are gonna play through Leslie's, and then we'll play through and get our OT3 because it's a lot of fun and I like this game. So I'll see you all again soon. And yeah, bye. I'm terrible at signing off. Bye-bye.